Hi, I'm Freddie Brown here, one of Impacts America's co-salesmen. And I'm here with the world-renowned famous DJ Vince Adams. How you doing, sir?
You know, fantastic.
How you feeling today?
Doing great.
Now,
Doing great.
I've been doing some research about you. Even though I'm still young, I learned about you growing up as a kid.
Okay.
So one thing I want to know is that you've been DJing for a little over 30 years, right?
Just under 30 years.
Just under 30 years.
Next year will be my 30th year.
Oh, congratulations to that.
Appreciate it.
So, people want to know what makes you different from a lot of DJs that is out now.
I would just have to say that my skill base is something that's very unique. I really came through what's called traditionally the old school, where you had to have certain skills. It wasn't just about what songs you were playing, it was about how you played them. And additionally, I would say versatility. A lot of people just kind of get pegged as, that's a guy that plays that kind of music or spins for that kind of crowd. I just like to appeal to the masses. So I do have some crossover appeal, but I can kind of sound good in any area that you put me in.
That's what's up. So, back in the day from the 80s and 90s, what makes the music different then than it is now?
Well, back in the 80s, you had something that was called like biting. I don't know if too many people know what that means, but biting meant that if you sounded or looked like somebody else, then you couldn't exist. So let's say if you sound like Heavy D, then like we don't like you, we don't want you around because there's only one Heavy D. Or if you sound like LL, if you look like LL, there's one. And then starting maybe around DMX, Ja Rule, it kind of started to be like everybody looked and sounded like everybody else, and originality kind of went down, and it was more like, okay, we like you because you sound like somebody else. So originality was really big in the 80s and 90s in music, and now there's much more copycat, if you will. So that's really, for me, the major difference is that originality is not the foremost thing that people are looking at.
Right. I know back in the day, because the other day I was talking to my mother about this. I know back in the day she said DJs, back in the day it was a rapper and then it was a DJ. It's going to be a group and then a DJ. Do you think DJs get respect now as they did back in the day?
Probably DJs as celebrities get more respect now than they did then. I was just talking to the group about David Guetta and Calvin Harris, and even if we think about, as you asked me about DJ Drama or DJ Khaled, we know a lot of DJs by name,
right.
Far more than we did even with, let's say, Jam Master Jay or a lot of other DJs from the early 80s. But those DJs are not necessarily always known for DJing.
Right.
So we don't know DJ Khaled as, wow, he's a great DJ, but we don't know, David Guetta as, wow, he's a great DJ, like I like his song.
Right.
Even though he is a great DJ. So I think that's kind of the difference, where the DJs that were known in the 80s were known for the craft that they did. Now they're more so known as icons or celebrities, but not necessarily for being, great party rockers.
So they're not really known for being as really well good DJs.
Exactly. That's not what they're known for. Not to say they're not,
Right.
but that's just not what we identify when we think about, those DJs, where before it was because you just were a great DJ.
Okay. So, I've done some research about you, and I've seen that you met Barack Obama.
Exactly.
So explain that feeling, that rush to meet the president of the United States. How was that for you?
Well, I can tell you, I don't get excited about too many things, but I definitely felt that it was a tremendous honor. It was it was a long reception. We actually had a good time to talk, to exchange some ideas, and really not necessarily get to know one another, but it was like, hey, let's take this picture and move on. And certainly for what he represents in the history of America, for you to have that moment as well. I can show everybody at some point a shout out that I got from the president. So when the president says, first I'd like to thank DJ Vince Adams, for DJing his birthday party. That's pretty exciting. So, there's some moments there with the president that will certainly last a lifetime, and we're certainly excited for.
Oh, that sounds really cool. And then I have one more question. If there's somebody that has passed away that you would like to, that you thought you could do this for, but they passed away, like a Tupac or Notorious B.I.G. or Leah, anybody like that?
Well, I can tell you, I was probably more taken. I remember the Sunday that Biggie passed, and it was just his his originality, the fact that he was a innovator, you know. And I'm a huge Tupac appreciator, but there were a lot of Tupac songs that you could like never listen to again and you would be okay. But the songs that he had that were incredible. It seemed like when it came to Biggie, almost every song was something that could be, you know, almost an anthem or a classic. And so for that reason, if you had the opportunity to, you know, work for somebody who was absolutely that incredible, that would be an honor. So I'm glad you gave me some suggestions. So out of those three, Biggie
Biggie being the first one.
Exactly.
Well, that's what's up. So again, I'm Frank Brown here with the real famous BJ Abbott, Vince Abbott, sorry about that. So I think
still my name, I'll say.
I thank you for stopping by and telling America about yourself and telling us your story.
It's my pleasure, and before I go anywhere, I want to congratulate you for being part of something that's absolutely incredible, just needed not only in Chicago, but throughout the country. You did a fantastic job today.
All right, thank you so much. Shout out to Chicago, shout out to the homeboy Nico, man. Once he watches this, once the whole United States watches it, we're going to be like, oh my God.
Can we salute Nico?
Yeah, salute Nico, man. Thank you. Frederick Brown here, signing off.